So let's go out to Vancouver. We're talking so quietly here, Ashley. How are you doing, and congratulations.
Hi, you guys. Thank you so much. We're doing well, and I gotta say, I don't remember the last time I took a shower, but I did have an excuse to put makeup on today, so I think that's kind of a win, right?
Oh, absolutely. So tell us about your experience. I know there were some tense moments leading up to the delivery in terms of carrying twins, and you feared they might come too early, but look how it all worked out.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was crazy. The last month I got put on basically bed rest. I had some high blood pressure issues, and then our little guy Grant here, he during the pregnancy was tracking a little smaller, so the doctors were just concerned about that, and we delivered around 35 weeks, so they were a little early, not terribly early for twins, but the delivery, everything went well. We had the most fantastic team of doctors and nurses. And both babies actually, when they came out, they did really well at that first night. We had a few issues with their body temperature just because they were preemie status and glucose levels and all that. But then after that, they soared through all of their tests, and we didn't actually have to stay any longer than anybody else would have in the hospital. So we got to take them home, and here they are. And this is little Grant Samuel here. He just woke up. He was sleeping, but he's our kind of mild-tempered guy, so he's happy. And then Isla Joy, we got her sleeping. We do not want to wake her up because she goes 0 to 100 pretty quickly.
That's our high-spirited girl. Ashley, tell us about the names. I always love hearing how people select names for their children.
Well, you know what, Grant, there was no real connection to like either of our families or anything. We just couldn't decide on couldn't agree, I should say, on any boy names except Grant. But his middle name, Samuel, is my husband's grandfather's name, who passed away last year. So that was really important to us and just kind of a touching tribute to him. He was just an awesome man. So Grant Samuel there. And then funny enough, we were going to go with I could say about 100 different girl names until like the day before the delivery for our little girl. And I've always loved the name Isla, and we were going to go with the name Everly instead. And like the day before, we decided to go with Isla instead. And then Joy is Chris's grandmother's name, and so that was that's where we got Joy. But it was so funny. I just have to tell you guys. So Isla, I get it, that's a little confusing. I think we threw off like most of our family. My dad calls the day the day we delivered, and he's like, "Oh, that's how you pronounce it." He goes, "I thought it was Isla." And he goes, "Why did you put an S in it?" And so it was like, I feel like we had to tell everybody how to pronounce her name.
She will be doing that for the rest of her life.
Yeah, well, I say it's like island without the ND. When I look at it, that's what I think of. So very beautiful. You mentioned, Ashley, Isla already has her own personality, as does Grant. What are you seeing in terms of temperament, and what does that mean for your schedule?
And I had no idea what having one was like, so at least we just got thrown into the whirlwind, not having any expectations. But taking care of two is a lot of work. It's a lot of diapers. I could not believe how many diapers babies go through, especially these two. And just trying to get them on a feeding schedule is a little hectic. It's totally manageable by yourself even. But it's funny, their temperament you asked about. This little guy is such a slow little eater, but he's really just patient and calm. But because he was a bit smaller than his sister, he just takes a lot longer to feed. Whereas Isla over here, she gulps down the milk. Like if we give her a bottle or anything, she like actually chugs it, and you can hear her gulping, and it's hilarious. So you can just see their little personalities already starting to come out.
How's the schedule? I mean, are you getting any sleep? Do they sleep at the same time? How does that all work?
We do now. We have a pretty good routine because in the hospital, we were up like every 20 minutes, like overnight. And then our nurses at Legacy Salmon Creek were phenomenal. They actually did us a solid a couple nights where they took the babies out for a few hours because we were going on like day 3 of no sleep at all. And so when we got home, we talked, Chris and I, and we said, that's not sustainable to be both getting up constantly. So we actually figured out a routine where we take shifts. And it works because, I'm used to getting up at 2 a.m. for the sunrise show. And my husband is used to working graveyard with his job. So he stays up late at night with him, and I get, you know, a chunk of sleep, maybe like 4 to 6 hours, which is awesome. And then I'll get up like 2:30 in the morning and relieve him, and then he goes to sleep. So we're a lot more present that way, and it's just more enjoyable. You know, we're not like so exhausted. So that works for us. I know that wouldn't work for everybody else, but we seem to have found a good rhythm so far.
Ashley, I was very touched by a Facebook post you wrote about motherhood and the new respect you have found in just a couple of weeks. Share some of your precious thoughts.
Yeah, you know, I was reflecting the other day and just thinking back on all my girlfriends who have had children. And, you know, we all go to baby showers and we bring a gift. And then beyond that, it's usually just a text message like, how are the babies doing? And I've never put much thought, I guess, into what happens after the babies come. And I have just been absolutely blown away by the support from not only our families, which our families are amazing, and both of our moms are really involved and they help. Just our friends. I mean, it gives me chills just thinking about it. A lot of, you know, my fellow mom friends have just come through. They bring meals. The first few days at home, we were exhausted, and I had friends come over and just say, we're going to watch the babies for 4 hours, go upstairs and go to bed. I had a girlfriend come vacuum our downstairs. I mean, it's just been, it's been wild, you know, like, yeah. And I haven't given moms enough respect and I guess credit for how hard it is. And I just want to give a shout out to all of our friends and family for all the help they've offered us. Oh, he's losing his pants.
Oh, pick him up, pick him up.
Oh, no, she doesn't want to wake him up.
Oh, I
Keep
know.
it clean for TV, buddy.
Don't wake the baby.
He's so good. I mean, I
they're
can't
both
believe
so,
he's
they're clearly
you know, stirring in the
perfect,
crib. Yeah.
obviously. I don't know what you're complaining about, Ashley. No, I'm teasing you. It is wonderful, though, but I have to tell you, it's going to ruin you for news because you will never watch a news story again and not think, that could be my child. That could be my child. Mm-hmm. It just changes your whole DNA, but in a wonderful way.
Oh yeah, I totally believe that. You know, I know a lot of it's the hormones, but I was like the first few days I was already like sobbing at home and telling my husband like, I don't want him to get big and I'm afraid something's going to happen to him. And he's like, it's going to be just fine. So when he gives me a big hug and I'm like, wow, these hormones are no joke. You just cry at the, you know, drop of a hat. It's crazy.
Well, Ashley, I don't know Chris well. We have the pleasure of sitting next to you every day here on Portland Today. And from what you described about Grant's disposition and Isla's disposition, I'm thinking Grant's like Dad and Isla's a lot like our lovable Ashley.
Oh, really? You don't think I'm really calm and laid back? You think Grant's not like me?
I think it's called karma. It's all
you're
coming
spot on.
around, girl.
Yeah.